One and only thing. You found your bell.
I did.
Yeah, it means it's Chip Chat. Welcome to Chip Chat.
Welcome.
I'm Chip. Who are you, Tez?
You just told them.
That's right. Look at that. See, we did it this time.
Yeah, we got it.
Because our guest isn't here.
Yeah, exactly.
Guests are distracting.
I was explaining that that's an organic thing that we've just never
messed
done.
up.
Well, but no. But
the opening?
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, we didn't write it down. Just started happening. Yeah, well,
that's all great radio.
I don't know if you know this, but radio is mostly about chemistry and how we get along with each other, which is remarkable in and of itself, given our origin story.
Yeah, going to be a funny thing that we have here.
When we get to the Broadcasters Hall of Fame eventually, and they have us go up and tell our story of like how we became the greatest show that Jesus and Mero wished they were.
Oh, don't they?
We were doing the show before they were, not you and me. But me and Larry were, and so they stole our bit.
They stole it.
It's essentially that. I mean, they do our show, or did.
Yeah, it's. I think, as we know, with any of these like duos and all
two guys in a podcast,
this stuff over. It's weird marriages and long time.
Yeah, but it's an odd thing to do the way we do it.
Yes.
Where we're like bringing up news, we're talking about it, and then like ripping on it. And hardly anybody else does it. Like the Daily Show writes things. Oliver writes things. That's
why they're superior.
Yeah, that's why they win Emmys. But like they write this. Jesus and Mero did what we did. Yeah. Improv'd it all out, and then they cut it well and edited it into much tighter, funnier spots. They didn't have any of the jokes that didn't land. They would cut them out.
Yes.
Yeah. We don't have a budget. Our producer's not that smart. I mean, maybe he is. He's less motivated.
Focus on the first part. We don't have the budget.
Yeah, we don't have any budget.
I'm sure if we were like, hey, Brian, here you go. You know.
Speaking of things we don't have tonight, our guest. So we did have a guest lined up, Vontae. He is unfortunately fallen ill.
A different bell.
He had some issues, so he's not here. But we are going to play a bunch of his music in the breaks, so he'll still be here with us. And hopefully, maybe we'll get him out next week or something. We'll try to work that out. Also, tonight, Benny and the Jets, minus Benny, have decided to usurp our regular time slot, and they are doing basically our show. This is our gig.
I'm watching it right now. It's in front of me.
They're up here bashing Trump, telling everybody that he tried to unmake the government and making jokes about it in their committee hearing, which is literally our show.
Yeah.
And I want money.
Again, I think it's always interesting, but not even interesting. When Congress is having hearings like late night, I equate it to like if HR has to show up on Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, something's
bad. But also like they started interviews on Morning Edition at 5 in the morning or something. Yes. These guys, I don't know when they sleep, and I don't know how they have the energy to do this. And I know they have staff that helps get all this stuff together, but still, they got to be up, and they can never get caught slipping.
Right, at all. And I mean,
a lot of coffee, I guess.
A lot of coffee. But yeah, they do. I mean, I know that Congress is the least popular it's ever been.
But they are very energetic, these people.
Just somehow.
Because I don't know how they're doing it.
Especially, I mean, it takes a lot of work to raise money, too. So.
Yeah, they're on the phone constantly raising money. But also, like, some, Kinzinger's not
this
old.
Is different. Yeah, no.
Exactly. But some of these folks are pretty old.
Look, I haven't been in a war.
Sure, he's been in a couple of them. He's all right.
I don't know what the toll of that is, and
he's running on.
From the folks I've heard,
he's running on Folgers and PTSD right now.
God,
that's it. All right,
I shouldn't pay the bill for that.
Anyway, while Adam from Illinois and Liz from Wyoming are busy, doing the things, Benny is home tonight, by the way, because he got COVID. But they still
it's going around.
Yeah, they still piped him in for the opening statements and whatnot. Okay. So that was good. Cool. And when they get to the outtake part of the video, which we think is going to happen tonight, they're going to show us outtakes of the orange monster not able to bring himself to say, "Go home, you're very special, we love you." He like they filmed that Rose Garden film many times, and at least a few of them, he was like, finish the job, kill Pence or whatever. And they were like, no, do it again.
He's better off the cuff. You can't have him reading prepared statements.
Yeah, no, I understand that because he can't read.
And you know what off the cuff on that day would be for him.
They actually talked about that earlier tonight, which they were sort of making the point that like he could walk down to the briefing room. There's a camera that's on 24 hours.
It's always
a day.
Ready to go. It's hot.
Yeah, and he could just go hit the button and broadcast, but he didn't do that. And then they were like, well, I wonder why he didn't do that. And they're like, well, he didn't want to. But also, the press office was like, we definitely can't let this agitated idiot in front of a camera. It's going to make it worse.
Yeah, folks were still out in the streets.
Yeah, well, look at what happened between, we're getting all the way off. But,
it's okay. We don't have a guest. We can run this a little. Not too late.
How fast it took from when the Capitol was breached to when he tweeted out the thing, kill Mike Pence and everybody who looks like him. Like that, there was a question of like, why didn't he get on TV in that amount of time? If you look at that he wound up to the tweet telling everybody to kill Mike Pence, putting him in front of the camera in that period of time would have been a terrible idea.
Yeah, because while the words are one thing, imagine
if they could see it and hear it, because you can only type so fast. What with those tiny little thumbs? So if he had like a camera, but he can talk.
Oh, and imagine
almost as well as us.
Imagine when he starts going on, he's just gonna
Mike Pence. We want him to live, just not right now.
Just don't hurt him too bad.
Right, don't hurt him too bad. I'll pay your medical bills.
He will,
right?
But he won't.
But hang him anyway.
Again, he was going to march up there with you. I'll be there with you.
They started off by playing that. All right, so anyway, when we get that, we're going to find out. We've also got some other interesting segments tonight. We've got, I went to a museum. We're going to talk about that. It should be kind of interesting. St. Jimmy of Ann Arbor stepped in it a little bit.
Not really, just said how I felt.
Well, we're going to talk about that. And some other good things that happened to Tez this week and not to me.
Yeah.
So it should be a fun show.
Yeah, we always figure it out. Brian, I think we're going to finish on time today.
Yeah, we're hoping.
Yeah.
We've cut 2/3 of the show out. It still might go over. That's how this goes.
That would be really insane.
Yeah. Well, it's our show.
Yeah.
All right. So do you have a word?
So I did have a word when I was walking in here.
Oh, no. But you've lost it?
I've lost it. We started...
worrying about
this. Yeah.
I
got a word.
All right. We'll see if it works.
Hopefully.
All right. So sit back, grab some
democracy.
It's thunderstorm time. You're listening to the best show, the only show, Chip Chat on RIP Radio Network.
Sweeps.
Chip Chat here on RIP Radio Network. I am your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
What's popping up?
All right, so we're going to talk about the hearings, which are ongoing, but we were studying them on the way up by listening, thanks to the good folks at National Public Radio, otherwise known as NPR.
Yes.
They were covering this gavel to gavel, as they say, so we were listening, we were paying attention. What the hearings are talking about for the J6 committee tonight is this period of time between when we saw Trump leave the stage at his Go Fight Like Hell rally on the Ellipse to when we saw him again in the video around 4 o'clock where he told everybody, we love you, you're very special.
The hostage video.
But still he loves them. And
still loves them.
You're very special. Yeah. So there was like this really long period of time, 180 some odd minutes, right? That's 3 hours, give or take, that he's just sort of unaccounted for. But what we know some things and what we learned more of them tonight. So we know that basically he gets off the stage, He goes into the Oval Office. He turns on Fox News. He immediately walks out of there and into the dining room. There's this like a little dining room off the side of the Oval, and takes his seat facing the TV because he's Trump. And this is where he throws ketchup at the wall and all this kind of thing.
This is also the time where, you know, we think, well, Trump can't really, like, how does he relate to, like, the supporters that he has, right? And this is the time where I'm like, oh, there it is. I want to sit down, watch TV,
eat overdone steak and watch Fox News.
Yeah. There's where the connect. There's where
because you do wonder, how does this guy who lives in this rarefied, gilded world have anything to, you know, in common with Billy Bob who drives a truck? And the answer is he acts like and eats like Billy Bob who drives a truck.
Yeah, and he hates those people as well, too. He talks shit about them and says, why do I have to shake their hands afterwards?
Right, yeah, of course he does.
Yes, he likes to sit in front of the TV. He likes to eat fast food. He loves Diet Coke.
Yeah.
I'll leave it there.
Yeah. Diet Dr. Pepper, you know, who knows. So what they've been showing and telling us is kind of what transpired in there. And there's like two venues to pay attention to about where things are transpiring. One is in the White House. What's going on in the White House? Well, Trump is in his dining room off by himself, chugging ketchup and Diet Coke, and there's no official activity. There's no calls through the switchboard. There's no emails. There's no notes in the diary. There's nothing. Right. But something's going on.
Yes.
And what we find out what's going on is he's calling people, but not through the official switchboard. So he's calling them from a burner phone, which he claims he doesn't have. But of course, you know, the thing about phone calls and text messages is there's always somebody on the other end of the exchange. Yeah. So even if you obscure your records, you can't stop theirs.
And also, burner phone could be like, hey, give me your phone. Like somebody, like, it's like, because some folks be like, well, is he walking around with one in his back pocket? Maybe. But he could summon a phone from, like.
Of course. This was a sort of famous thing Obama had to deal with because he didn't want to give up his BlackBerry. And so they were like, well, you can't use it to call official things. And he's like, oh, that's all right. I'll just use Michelle's. And then he would. You know, he would just...
Michelle, my phone.
Yeah. Let me use your phone for a second. I got to call, you know, England. Hey,
that's the graphic. I love it.
Hey, England. That's awesome. This is it's Barack. I'm on Michelle's phone. You know, and then they would chat, and then he'd give it back to her, and then he would get back on his BlackBerry, you know, playing Brick Breaker or whatever it was he was doing.
It's 2008.
It was a long time ago. All right, so anyway, we know he's making phone calls, and he's calling Rudy a lot. We know of like 12 minutes of time in over 2 phone calls he talked to Rudy. Go look at your phone logs and look at like how long your average phone call lasts. 12 minutes is a damn eternity. Who is on the phone with anybody for 12 minutes?
But that's a lot of... I feel like phone calls between those two are a lot of like someone says something, another person... No one's answering questions.
Yeah, they're just chattering. No. It's got to be... I would definitely
Rudy,
subscribe.
You see what's happening? I see, Mr. President.
Yeah.
He's going back and forth, and
it's very unfair how they're treating me. Yeah, boss, it's really unfair how they're treating you. You know,
I can see that going on for 12.
But I would instantly sign up for the Patreon version of that podcast of listening to Trump and Rudy phone calls.
Yeah.
It would be hilarious.
If Elon Musk brings him back on Twitter, and he does can do a super follow for Trump for just if he gives us that
for the podcast. But I want to hear it.
Yeah, that's all I want.
Hear it.
Yeah.
So all right, we also know like he called Tommy Tuberville, but on Mike Lee's phone because he keeps not knowing who the senators are. So he calls Tuberville, and Tuberville hangs up on him because he's being evacuated from the Senate chamber. He's like, Mr. President, I got to go. They're evacuating us because your people are trying to kill us. And then he hangs up on him.
And also it's like, yo, I'm new here.
Yeah, right. And he's from Alabama, so he probably doesn't know which way is, I don't know, up. So he's having a difficult time navigating. We've got signs that use words written in English, and he's just not able to handle that. Because he coached at Auburn. He did
coach at Auburn.
Yeah. So anyway, The other venue to pay attention to is over at the Capitol, where the rioters are destroying everything and they've gotten in. And like, Trump is told the second he's off the stage that they're attacking the Capitol, and he is told when they breach and all that stuff. And during the time that he's chugging ketchup, lots of people keep coming into the dining room.
Yeah.
Cousin Pasquale, Mark Meadows, a bunch of Hirschman, all of these top officials within the White House are going in there and going, hey, this is bad. You need to do something about it. And he keeps telling them, no, I like this. This is fine. Shut up. Get out of here. Bring me more ketchup.
Again, there's a set of folks who are like, we understand what we know to be the rule of law, and you have just trampled all over this, and there might come a time where we might all go to jail.
That's true. And
he can't he doesn't
care.
Because also too,
he's never faced a consequence in his life. He doesn't know what that's like.
For so long.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Here we might have.
Hold on.
Breaking news. Uh-oh. What's Brian got? Breaking news. This better be breaking.
Okay, they just mentioned about the final script.
Oh, good. Okay. Let's see if we can patch in here.
Or did he just go off the cuff?
To my knowledge, it was off the cuff, sir.
Good, Chase.
Yeah.
When you're ready, sir.
Yep.
You'll be right behind
me. You tell me when.
When you're ready, sir.
Who's behind me?
Okay. He's gone around. We're all clear now.
He looks.
We're getting ready to hear him.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had a election. Let me say.
This is like me recording the song.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time.
Shout out to Sam Waterson.
There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel. But go home and go home in peace.
When I got there, basically the president just had finished filming the video, and I think he was basically retiring for the day.
Was there any discussion about the president releasing a second video that day?
Not that I recall. When he finished his video, I think everyone was like,
Jared looks punchable even when he's like drained. Sitting still.
We're pretty what?
Drained.
You were drained, were you?
But we say day over, there were still people in the Capitol at that point, weren't there?
There were people in the Capitol, but I believe by this stage, law enforcement.
All right, so that was the video that we did see, but apparently there was this script that they had written for him to say that was not that was like, go home, it's important that we're all peaceful and respect law and order or whatever. And he added in all this other stuff of like, it was a fraudulent election, it was stolen, right. You're all very special, we love you. Like, that's the thing. So, all right. That was when we saw him reemerge after this sort of like black box period where he's in the dining room.
He did look drained.
Yeah. Well, Diet Coke isn't good for you.
It's not.
There's got to be a limit. But like so that's what was going on at the White House. Over at the Capitol, Mike Pence was this close to death. One of the other interesting things that we learned tonight was that the Secret Service detail that was with Pence,
right,
They got him out of the Senate chamber, and they're in his office, and they're trying to figure out if they can safely move him to the secure location.
Right.
And they don't have a clear path because it's already blocked. There's a lot of protesters.
What, are they going to mow him down?
They discussed that.
Yeah.
So they're on the radio chatter, which we heard tonight, basically discussing, do you think we can make it through? We got to go. If we're going to go, we got to go now. If we don't, we're going to have to use lethal force. They were, at one point, calling on the dispatch over the live radio, tell my family that I love them. I went down swinging. This is going to be the end. The vice president's security detail was basically making their statements. They were ready to die. They were about to die. They thought they were about to die.
What you signed up for, and this is
they meant it.
Yeah.
And they were ready to literally go AK blazing through a crowd of rabid Trump supporters who at that point were actively trying to kill Mike Pence.
Yeah. I don't know what the because that could have changed the dynamics of a lot of things, and even what we're dealing with now.
Well, you saw what happened when they shot that one, when the Capitol Police shot that one lady. They all
no. And that's what I think. I think it would have stopped it there. I think it would have stopped everything. I think then you got to worry about his boss, Pence's boss, then going and saying,
right.
And then saying, all right, well, it seems to be people are getting shot. We're doing that.
Calling a national emergency, martial law, blah, blah, blah. Right. The pillow guy would have got what he wanted.
Exactly.
It would have been pillow war everywhere. But that's
Pillow War 1.
Yes.
Right. Oh, no. God. Pillow War 1. That sounds like a freaking sleepover.
Yeah. Like Babysitter's Club and the case of the Pillow War 1. Who won Pillow War 1? You're not speaking down, so you owe us a thank you.
Exactly.
Right. Those Tempur-Pedics. Those Swedish pillows are so neutral. They don't want to get involved in anything. But
times have changed.
Now they've decided. Yeah, that's right.
And
those really flat pillows.
Yeah,
that's the French in the war. Because they just give right away. They're just not gonna. It's no good. They're not gonna fight. They're French.
Oh, look.
What? Surrender's a French word. I didn't make that up. It's a real thing.
That's always interesting. What do you call it? Americans hate the French.
We like what they did for us.
Yes.
But they didn't do it because they liked us.
No, they didn't.
They did it because they hate the British.
That's all.
And then they openly despised us right up until they're like, hey, we've got these Germans that are occupying our land. Would you mind? And we were like, sure, France, I guess so. And then we do it, and then it happens again because they built guns that only pointed one direction. Fucking morons. And then that's a Rex Tillerson quote. No. So then we do it again, and then the whole Cold War, they're like, well, we're not really sure if we want to be in NATO, and we might sell the Russians a bunch of guns, and maybe they want to buy some of our airplanes. And we're like, France, what's up, man? And they're like, well, we're just not really into the whole Western Europe thing. And then, Russia grinned at them, and they're like, hey, America, would you mind, just do the thing.
Well, look, man, Thomas Jefferson still pulls off the biggest...
He stole ice cream from them.
Yeah.
And made them take care of Ben Franklin for a while. It's a good deal.
Yeah.
This naked fat man needs something to do. Send him to France, says Thomas Jefferson. I'm on my way, says Ben Franklin. Exactly. Do they have electricity yet? No. Whew. Pack my kite. I'm on the next boat. Be there in 3 months.
And here's Chip Chat history for you.
It's just as legitimate as whatever you're going to learn in many of those red states.
Native Americans probably hate France, with all that,
Or they kind of they were on the same side.
Louisiana Purchase and all that.
Yeah, but they were on the same side in the French and Indian War.
But then...
Which is not what they call it.
Yeah, no. At all. At all.
All right, so back to our current war. So, the Secret Service was ready to die. They were going to defend Mike Pence. They were going to shoot their way through the crowd. It didn't quite come to that, but it got down to 40 feet, like we talked about. And the thing that's so maybe tragic, but also kind of still this problem persists with these text messages, which we are going to get to a little bit later in the show about where are the text messages. But it is worth pointing out here that if what we've got is Secret Service radio chatter, but we don't have their text messages, that is a little concerning. Because one is pretty ephemeral, right? Like radio chatter is not a thing you expect to stick around, but somehow that's recorded. But these text messages, the reason you use a text and not a phone call is because you might want to go back and look at it later, right? Okay, everybody's had this happen at work. You have some conversation over text, you get 2 texts in, and somebody writes back, call me.
Yes.
That means we're about to say something to each other that we would prefer not to be recorded.
Yeah, simple as that.
And it might just be like, did you see what Susie was wearing today? Or it might just be like, who do you think that boss guy is? Yeah, I know, he's such a dick, or whatever. Like it. Yeah. It could be that.
To say that. It's privacy. Yeah,
it's all fine, but you don't want it in a text.
Because then there is no privacy.
Right. But unless you're the Secret Service. Well, in which case you can.
Well, remember what the Secret Service job is.
Bang hookers in Panama.
Well, that is true.
That's true.
Yeah, that is true. But it's to protect the president.
And the vice president in this case.
Yeah. It seems like these erased text messages. Well,
it was in commission of their duty protecting the president.
Yeah.
From the law.
The law, exactly. Because, and that, you know what, that feels a little reckless because I know the Secret Service is it's a huge branch in a sense.
And they're part of DHS, and we're supposed to think of them as apolitical and neutral and just like, the same way that the Capitol Police, you elect them, we protect them. Like, that's the deal. But they're not really.
And I believe that, but the same way is that we know how society is, right? And they are just members of society who happen to do that job.
Yeah, and they're mostly former military, and they're mostly white, and so there's, there is
what plays all day on military bases. I think it's Fox News. I don't think it's MSNBC.
No, it's not. But also, that Trump politicized the Secret Service.
Yes, he did do that.
He plucked people out of the Secret Service and gave them political jobs in the White House. He had a deputy chief of staff who was also his head of security in the Secret Service. That is a big problem. Yeah. I don't know how that was legal, but none of the things he did were legal
in 45s, right?
None of the things were legal. Every time he would do anything, the court would be like, "You can't do that," and he'd be like, "Fucking make me."
He had a hotel down the street.
Yeah. Which he then promptly sold as soon as it wasn't part of the grift anymore.
I forgot how much he made off of that.
No, he actually lost money on the sale. They sold it for $340 million, and he paid $500 or something like that. But how much grift did he make?
Yes, but I'm saying inside of it. Yeah.
Speaking of which, he bought it not with his money. It's all financed. So with the Russian money.
Yeah.
So Vlad bought him a hotel. He lined his pockets with the Saudis while they were coming to cuddle him and bribe him or whatever. And all of this was happening right in front of everybody's faces. And that wasn't even one of the things talked about in both impeachments. The list of things that he did is so insane.
And maybe we have become desensitized to this to a point because that alone should be a huge.
There's so many of those level things where you're like
that should be a huge.
We've got one tonight that by itself in any other administration would have been something that cost everybody their jobs and possibly got you impeached. And it is a blip in the Trump.
He still managed to get impeached twice.
Yeah, only twice, and he's looking for a third. I mean,
yeah.
Might have to. Who knows? Unless Fannie Willis handles it. All right.
Hope so.
You want to take a break?
Yeah, let's take some.
Let's take a break. We're going to play some music from... breaking news.
Wow, we're not taking a break tonight.
Liz from Wyoming did something again.
No.
Okay. Oh, Brian broke the microphone. That's why you can't let white guys be producers. Come on.
Everybody loves Rick Rubin.
That's true.
There is breaking news, but semi-related to this. We just found out a couple of hours ago, Verizon has dropped OAN from their lineup.
Okay, good.
That's a start.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because OAN is AT&T. They can't be together.
Well, yeah.
Right.
No, that wasn't about politics. Yes. That was about money.
Yes,
of course
exactly.
it was.
Yeah, so surprisingly enough, OAN is still around, but there's only one cable company in America, not continental America, but America itself, who will be presenting OAN, and it's Alaska-based
Okay, I was going to say you make us guess, and it's going to be RCN. It's 100%
still got those type of cable like that.
Local cable.
No one's like gobbled that up
because Comcast doesn't want that. One. It's got no subscribers. They don't care.
I didn't think that.
You think the Moose are tuning in? It's like Grizzly Bears and Moose.
At first, I thought like the Moose Tune In was like the name of like.
It could be. Probably is. I don't know.
Network.
Welcome to local cable access in Alaska. Tonight on Moose Show. Some moose.
I did not think that those
with special guest Wolf. An appearance by
Bear.
Join us tonight. I'm Beaver, and this is Wolverine, and you're listening. I mean, you know, what would they possibly have on these shows?
For guy, when you sound
like one guy by himself in a cabin.
Give me the name of that cable place again. I just want to.
Alaska Cable?
Yes, it is GCL.
What does that stand for? Go look it up.
I need to
find out what GCL stands for.
After the break.
After the break, we're gonna come back with. Oh, you're watching Chip Chat on GCL, Sarah Palin's favorite Moose channel on Rip Radio Network.
Part of me says let it go whenever it's bad. A part of me says hold on tight and try make it last. Praying for the future but still think of the past. Reminiscing about that time on the sofa when you told me that you cheated. The thought of you creeping with someone else. Gave you all I had even when nothing was left. Felt it in my chest like yesterday, still remember. Type of shit that make a nigga colder than December. We go through ups and downs, trying to turn this shit around. We go through ups and downs. Sometimes it's lost, sometimes it's found. We go through ups and downs. From the highs to the lows, I be thinking to myself, should I stay or should I go? Cause you don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck. No. Feel like giving up, this ain't what it was. No. Sick of chasing love, think I've had enough. Caught up in this love game with you. You don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck. No. Feel like giving up, this ain't what it was. No. Sick of chasing love, think I've had enough. Caught up in this love game with you. Caught up in this love game, a lot on my plate. Shit, caught up in this love game, feel like it was fate. Hey, fell in love with you as soon as I saw your face. Supposed to be a one night stand, here we are on a date. A couple months later, I pack my bags, I'm moving in. A couple months later, oh who is that? That's just a friend. But excuse my insecurities, I've been through this before. Just promise you ain't fucking him, I'll pack and hit the dope. Shit, not a saint myself, I know I put you through a lot. Love is all I know, and baby, you are all I got. Swimming in these feelings got me feeling like a minnow. Got a nigga up late nights, Jay Leno. We go through ups and downs, trying to turn this shit around. We go through ups and downs. Sometimes it's lost, sometimes it's found. We go through ups and downs, from the highs to the lows. I be thinking to myself, should I stay or should I go? Cause you don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck. No. Feel like giving up, this ain't what it was. No. Sick of chasing love, think I've had enough. Caught up in this love game with you. You don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck. No. Feel like giving up, this ain't what it was. No. Sick of chasing love, think I've had enough. Caught up in this love game with you. Caught up in this love game, but we gon' work it out. Learn from our mistakes, hey, we gon' work it out. We gon' do whatever it takes.
All right, welcome back to Chip Chat here on Rip Radio Network. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Tez. That was Vontae, who would have been our guest tonight. Hopefully we'll get him next week. We're working out the details. We'll have our people call his people.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
Get on that, guys.
Do we have people?
Yeah. They sit here every day. They sit here. They watch the show. Claude sits over there and works, you know.
Yeah, right. Claude. So funny. All right, so now we've come to the part of the show called The Rundown.
Where we're going
to tell you about some stuff that's going on in the news. All right, this story comes to us from Denver.
Yeah.
The Mile High City.
Many.
Yeah, so it turns out, you know how they say like guns make everybody safer? And if you have a lot of guns around, then people be more polite, right? Out of fear, apparently. The NRA operates on a politeness based on fear.
Yeah.
Much like children. You know?
Yes.
Why do children say please and thank you? Because if they don't, they get in trouble.
Yeah.
They don't mean it.
Yeah.
Yeah. say thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
They don't.
You're trying to reinforce a behavior that hopefully,
will eventually get tied to gratitude. But they don't mean it at all.
At all.
Trick or treat. What do you say? Thank you. Okay. You've been trick or treating.
Yes.
And you see how completely regardless children are for the people giving them the candy.
And I mean, just even in general, like today we bought a book and it's like, hey, and this is like a stranger, that you should be saying this to strangers.
Yes, you should say thank you.
And it's like, or they mumble it. And I'm like, you speak loud. What did you say? Thank you. And it's like,
right. But they only do it because you're there making them.
They would have walked. They wouldn't have paid.
Right. They wouldn't have even cared. Okay, so the NRA thinks that people are 3-year-olds, but they say that if we all have guns, we'll all be safer.
Yeah, we will be.
Okay, so here in Denver, there was an incident where there was a bar fight. And somebody had a gun, so instead of it being a fist fight, it became deadly. And immediately there were cops there because it was, downtown and the bars are open or whatever. And the cops started blasting at the guy. So they were the good guys with the guns shooting at the bad guy with the gun. What did they do, Tez?
I think they got 5 bystanders.
They hit 5 extra people.
It can't be that.
No, and this whole thing about people with guns save lives, nobody is a good shot. These are the cops. They're bad.
Now, but I have to look it up. There was a random story of some guy in
Indiana
who has no training, I heard, or anything.
He was 22, and he was carrying his gun, his Glock, and there was a guy with a rifle.
I need a trade right now. These guys, whoever these people are.
Yeah, but what we don't know is how close he was to this guy or what the situation was, all of that. And
but I'm saying there's more of these.
You're always gonna find some example of some bystander with a gun who put down a would-be mass murderer.
But these are the police.
But these are the police, and they were bad.
They're really bad.
They can't hit what they're aiming at. They eventually hit the guy, I think, but he ended up going to the hospital. I don't think he killed him.
We need more training.
Right.
Along the other list. I didn't think the training was for this, though. I thought we didn't have to train them to shoot. I thought they were really proficient at shooting people.
It depends on the kind of people.
Sorry.
Right. So
they took the Empire Stormtroopers class.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah, so they just spray and can't hit anything. Right. The red blasters.
Right.
Yeah.
They needed shit. That is...
All right, this next story is called "What's a Maryland Republican?" Did you know there are such things? There's a few. Brian says he knows.
You know a few.
I don't think I
did not.
I mean, Larry Hogan was a Maryland Republican.
I guess.
Yeah, right. And he couldn't have won a Republican primary anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere. There's not. I'm trying to think of where.
So. There are nominally Maryland Republicans. They did nominate a guy for governor who was not Larry Hogan's pick. He's a one-term delegate, I think, from maybe up in Frederick. His name is Cox.
Yeah, Mr. Cox.
Hilarious. Yes, the Republicans love Cox.
They do.
And so they nominated.
I know internet.
They nominated Cox for this seat. He is undoubtedly going to lose, but to who we don't know yet.
We don't know.
Right?
They're still trying to.
They have to count all these ballots, and they're not going to start counting them really till tonight, actually, is when they start counting all these mail-in ones because they've got all these rules to make sure that everything gets in. And so it could be a bit of a showdown, right? I don't know who we think we want to win. They're all fairly interchangeable, I think. I don't see a lot of daylight between the top 3.
And Hogan's been in there how long now? What is this,
He's term limited. He was 8 years.
Second term, yeah. So...
And he was fine.
I mean, because also when you're dealing in blue, when
the legislature is so blue and that you have no choice but to work with them.
Yeah, he navigated it, and he also, I think
if he could run a third term, he would win in a heartbeat.
He would win in a heartbeat.
Larry Hogan.
I thought he was able to kind of juxtapose his vision for conservatism against what Trumpism is, and
sure
he has the story, and he's a 2024 candidate.
Oh, he is, but he's not gonna. He doesn't stand a chance at it. He was clearly pretty anti-Trump, but he also was he understood that trickle down was not a viable option and he was not super anti-choice or anything. No. So he was a Republican in that he wanted maybe to let business do more damage to the world and exploit workers a little more than Democrats want to let him do it. But there's not. He's a trains run on time kind of guy.
Yeah,
that was all he was interested in, and getting face masks from Korea.
Yeah, that shit don't work no more.
No,
good luck.
It's not a party anymore.
That's how it works anymore.
Here's an example of it. A Maryland Republican running for U.S. Senate was arrested Friday on allegations of falsely claiming to have information about child sex trafficking, according to a release from Harford County Sheriff's Office. You know where Harford County is?
Yeah.
It's like in the past Baltimore?
Yeah, up there.
Okay. Havre de Grace and all that stuff.
Yes, I do know Havre de Grace, actually.
And Blair.
Yes.
Just spelled Bel Air.
Bel Air.
Yeah. But it's Blair. Yeah. Okay, so Ryan Dark White. That is a fantastic name.
First of all,
he's so white. He's dark white.
His name is like a order when you're going to get
You want to know why? Because that's not his real name.
What is it?
Oh no, that's not what he's running under. He's running for Senate as Dr. John McGreevy, who he's not a doctor, by the way. But his name is his given name is Ryan Dark White. Look at him.
Well, there he is again.
Ryan
now we're seeing his mugshot.
He looks pretty dark white.
Yeah, if you can tell me what dark white was,
if
it was
be call up Central Casting, send me a white guy who looks like he could be in the Klan, and they send somebody. You go, no, darker white than that.
Darker.
Yeah, whiter.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
yes, that's what we mean.
Yeah, that's what we got colorism on white people.
Exactly.
So. They arrested him because that's right. He told police that a man at the Edgewood, Maryland adult bookstore where he works, he's running for Senate, was forcing a young girl to perform sex acts on male customers at his store.
Yeah.
Right. The sheriff charged White with making false statements to law enforcement. Quote, "It's shameful that a candidate for public office," pause, I love that they have to call him that, candidate for public office, would make up such a story and use it to further his own political agenda. Harford County Sheriff Jeffrey whatever said in a statement, "It's even more appalling that another individual who is running for a law enforcement position would embrace such an obviously false narrative in an effort to gain political traction, nothing more." He said, the sheriff said, referring to Republican candidate for Baltimore County Sheriff Andy Cool, who the Baltimore Sun reports has also made appearances with Mr. Dark White. White is one of 10 Republicans that was on the ballot on Tuesday. I had no idea where he finished, but clearly in his store. I'm sure he's finished in his store many times.
Many times, right. I mean, first of all, it's not shameful. These people don't have any shame anymore.
I've driven past this store. I can guarantee it. So if you're ever coming back from New York or whatever, you get to the bridge, the Delaware bridge, and you have to make this choice. So do I stay on 95 or do I bail and go on 40?
Yes.
Because they run
I know exactly.
right next to each other.
Exactly what you're talking about.
And sometimes the answer is go on 40.
Right.
And there is this stretch of 40 in northeastern Maryland that has, I think, the highest density of adult bookstores I've ever seen in my life. They literally within a couple of miles of each other, dotting down Route 40. Wow. And they're all still open, which is shocking to me. Since 2003, who is the demand?
Someone who doesn't know how to get it for free.
It's the internet is functional.
They only know how to use the internet to plan coups.
Right, sure.
That's the
GCI. That's
yeah, right. The Alaskan Moose Cable Network is still buying porn video cassettes
and running it through their main board. That's how they're broadcasting.
No, they're using multiple VCRs to clean up the Skinamax so that they can watch it at home. Yeah, right.
And and then I think the only thing this Andy guy, your appearance, not cool.
No. Oh. I don't want to ever hear another word out of him about my jokes. That's so bad.
Look, man. It's just a look of corn.
That was kind of a dark joke. Dark white joke. Oh, my God.
You reverse that white dark. Doesn't have the same.
No.
The dark white?
Yeah. I saw a guy, he was kind of dark white. Oh, dark white. Yeah, I know. Yeah, steer clear of that. Yeah.
They packed their hoods.
His head was shaved. Yeah.
Well,
dark white.
Dark white.
Said the beard and everything.
That little beard, yeah. Why do they all?
I don't. They have like a uniform code. You must dress like a light bulb. You have to be shaved head with the goatee. That's the rules.
Bunch of Walter Whites.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Dark whites.
Dark whites.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of various colors of people, the census, which keeps track of those things. Okay.
It does.
So the census is a constitutionally mandated thing that we do in this country.
And throughout time, it seems to be, I don't know, the colonizers seem to have perfected this, and wherever they go, they count people. They've been counting people for a long time.
Yeah, but in our case, the census has a lot of value to it.
Yes.
We do it every 10 years, and we count all of the people in the country, and we use that to determine representation.
Other folks mostly use it for records,
yes,
it seems like.
But we use it for representation and also for funding mechanisms and all kinds of other critically important things. It also accumulates massive amounts of demographic data, which is useful for people who want to go back and search their family histories or all that stuff. They have to keep all that stuff secret until 72 years for whatever reason. So the 1950 census is the big hot thing that now everybody can get access to. And like, it's on balance a good thing. The census is a good thing, and it's necessary.
They count whole people now, so it's good.
They do now.
Yes.
Because of the 14th Amendment.
Woo!
Okay. So it is important that you know that the 14th Amendment had this bit added to it. You know, the 14th Amendment is one of the two that comes after the Civil War that we're sort of cleaning up these two big problems. 13th abolishes slavery.
Right.
And then the 14th is the sort of catch-all, fix a lot of these other things.
Yes.
It fixes the 3/5 compromise. In the language that it uses to fix that is that the census is required to count the total number of persons. Living in a state.
Persons.
Whole number of persons.
And even back then, the persons were okay. Like again,
it doesn't specify
anything else.
What else about
even
them?
Back far way back
Walking, talking, you know, as long as they're alive and human, they're counting.
Yeah.
Right? Whether they're status, whether they're visiting, whether they're incarcerated in that state and really from another state, like those things all matter.
Yeah.
And for a long time, this has been not a problem, but enter the Trump administration.
Of course.
So the Trumpistas wanted to use the census as a tool to find and deport undocumented people in the United States. And they said, well, this is easy. We'll just put a citizenship question on the census.
You got the data.
As if anybody hasn't figured out you can lie on a form. But okay, sure. So they go, well, we're going to put this on the census. And of course, everybody who can read goes, well, you can't do that. It's not part of the Constitution. It's not illegal. You can't do that. So they sue the Commerce Department, which conducts a census, and they say, hey, this is a problem. You can't put this question on. And they go, no, we want to put this question on because we have a legitimate reason. We want to use it to help enforce the Voting Rights Act, which is a hilarious rationale for something so obviously anti-voting, but cool. And they go, no, this is the thing. And it gets tied up in court, but eventually we get so close to the deadline that the thing's got to go, that the court just goes, no, you're not putting this thing on, move on. And Wilbur Ross, who was turned 80 in 1987, just goes, I give, right? Because he had run out of fiber pills. So they just say fine, and they take it off the thing. But the damage was already done. They had scared enough people. They delayed it. The delay
has wreaked havoc.
Yeah, it's still a problem, and we're not going to be able to fix this for 10 more years. So, like, they got what they wanted, which was to fuck up the census. And fucking up the census generally helps the status quo because you don't have good data to reapportion everything. And if you are a white supremacist, not having good information about non-white people in the country basically helps you. So you just,
they're not even here.
Yeah, they're not even. Why should we care about that? Why should illegals get representation? That is really what they're going after, right? Because the Constitution says so. That's why. You got a problem with that, you take it up with Jimmy Madison, not me.
Right.
Yeah. Proud Virginian. Owned a bunch of people, though. So
a lot.
Iffy. It's fine. Okay, so now what we found out this week, and this is what I'm talking about, like this kind of level of scandal would sink every previous administration. Wait, this makes Nixon look fairly benign.
Yeah, what was he doing?
Not this.
Not this. What was he doing?
Now it turns out we've got memos of the Trump administration basically talking openly about why they wanted this question on there, which is that they wanted to hunt illegals. And they've got all of these handwritten notes going like, and if anybody asks, tell them it's about the Voting Rights Act. Like, are you fucking that stupid? Self-incriminating at that level?
It's the worst criminal enterprise I've ever watched.
Yeah.
It is I haven't watched. This one's going to go down and say, but most criminal enterprises don't, the business
they get away with it for a little while.
They get away with it for a little while. And like the business that they use as a cover is in the United States of America.
Right. The documents released along with a new report by the House Oversight Committee come as Congress is considering a House bill that would help shield upcoming national headcounts from this kind of interference.
Everything. Everybody's like, hold on.
Yeah, multiple drafts of newly released memo from 2017 show that in the months before the March 2018 announcement of then Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross's decision to add a citizenship question, Trump officials were particularly focused on who specifically should be included in the census numbers used to reapportion congressional seats and electoral votes among the states. Both U.S. citizens and non-citizens, regardless of their immigration status, have been part of those official numbers since the country's first head count in 1790. Despite the 14th Amendment's requirement to include, quote, the whole number of persons in each state. In a version of the memo presented in August 2017 to Ross, who oversaw the census, a key section of it said basically the apportionment clause does not address the exclusion of non-citizens and illegal aliens from the population when apportioning U.S. state representatives. They were openly memorializing their attempts to subvert the Constitution. And that's a non-thing.
We don't have time for that. This is going
to go down as a footnote. Poor Hansi Luong, who's like been covering this diligently for NPR for 5 years, is going to get, no Peabody, no Pulitzer, no nothing. This is just going to, so who cares? There's so many much bigger things. This right here is huge.
Yeah, and I think because the counting of individuals in this country represent
whole people,
right? Represent power in a sense, right?
Yes.
They represent power and where power is going to like shift. Like it's huge. And also like even like if you go deeper, right? Folks who work for the census, right? Like them delaying this shit for as long as they did, that affects again people's jobs.
It ruins their lives.
It ruins their lives. And like the government is already really slow.
Yeah.
And a lot of things.
And underpaid, understaffed. All of these things. And in fact, some of the workers at the Census Bureau down there in Suitland, they like filed all these grievances with their union. They're like, this stuff is killing us.
As they should.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's so many pieces of that administration that we're never going to get a chance.
No, because there's just not enough ink to print all of this level of scandal.
And this just goes back to, as some of these things come back up, as you think about them, you're like, oh, wow, I forgot. Like, not that I forgot that this census thing was happening, but it's also when they bust down the doors of the Capitol.
It's the Sharpie on the hurricane.
Remember we go to war with Iran?
Yeah. Yeah.
After Christmas?
Yeah. And there's, like, you don't even remember all this stuff. It's so drastic. So drastic. And some of it's so stupid. Remember he tried to buy Greenland?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that even happened? And that was just a couple years ago.
The Sharpie of the hurricane.
The Sharpie on the hurricane. I mean, it is endless.
There's a lot.
Endless. Trying to sell national parks. I mean, it was like, this stuff is crazy. It's crazy. Remember when he took Sarah Palin out for pizza and ate it with a fork and knife? That was before he was president. But still, like, I mean,
him tossing the paper towels and.
Do you remember that he threw paper towels to hurricane victims in Puerto Rico?
And he said, "What?"
And then he wanted to talk to the president of Puerto Rico about why he wasn't doing enough to save Puerto Rico.
What did he say? I remember him saying, he said, "We love Puerto Rico, but we also love Puerto Rico."
Yeah, and then he also reminded us that hurricane was very wet in terms of water.
Yes,
like that's one national disaster. It's so. Like, we don't have bookshelves big enough to catalog all of this stuff.
Just spend the next 3 shows just, like, trying to think them up. Like, remember when?
There are a number of comedians I've seen who basically do this bit of, like, is this a real Trump scandal or did I make it up? And it's impossible to tell. And as people on Twitter will say, there are no quotes that Trump hasn't said. They're just things he hasn't said yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So you could just make it up, and it's gonna work.
Coming soon to Truth
to a
social wall
near you.
posts near you.
Right. All right. Since our guest isn't here, let's do the Florida or nah story in some fashion or another, and then we'll hit the break and come back with the Tez talk. Or you
perfect?
Yeah.
I haven't even.
All right. So
I didn't read this one.
Florida or not?
Oh well, then maybe you don't know.
Yeah, I didn't read this one.
Okay, don't look.
I'm not going to look. I didn't read it.
All right, we're going to make you play. You ready?
Yeah, I'll play. It's been a while.
A county is under quarantine due to the discovery of fast-growing population of invasive giant African land snails. The Department of... Not the Secret Service.
Oh, that's a land snail, too.
Yeah, right. The Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services confirmed there were giant African land snails in this county on June 23rd, according to their website. The snail poses a health risk to humans because they carry a parasite called rat lungworm, great name for Trump, which can cause...
Is that what's killing all the rats in D.C.?
Yeah.
Rat lungworm?
Which can cause meningitis.
That
so great,
right.
You know.
Polio's back too, so
they can produce 2,500 eggs per year. So the population, 2,500 eggs per year. The population is therefore difficult to control, according to Christina Chitty, real name, great name. The population in this county likely originated from the illegal pet trade. Full stop. Who's keeping giant snails as pets? What do? Cuddle them? They can't. They give them meningitis. Giant African land snails are illegal to own as pets in the United States, but some exotic pet owners still keep the invasive pests if the owners discard them into the wild or accidentally lose them. How do you accidentally lose a snail the size of a football? They can quickly establish a foothold. That's funny. You know what class of animal snails are?
No.
They're called gastropods, which means stomach foot. Yeah, they've got a big foothold.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a great joke. Feeding on over 500 different plant species and even consuming the paint and stucco off houses as a source of calcium. They will literally eat your house.
Oh, shit. So the friggin' fraudsters with all this shit. Hold on. I already have guessed this.
Okay, so where is this?
I think I have guessed this already for a few reasons.
Okay.
Well, that last one, I was just like, well, you know, the fraudsters in Florida with the whole, like, roof and shit, and they got the snails now to help them. Also, too, I'm picking Florida because I'm pretty sure I think I've probably actually heard about these snails before, so I'm picking it on that. And then there's one last piece on there that you read that made me think immediately for it that it's Florida. Hold on, damn, I lost the third piece. There was another piece in it that I heard, and I was like, it was earlier in the story. I don't want to go and look at it.
People keep them as pets.
Yeah, the exotic pet trade.
Yeah,
and that's
the one. A very Florida
that's
thing.
A very Florida thing. So those are the 3 things that are going to make me say Florida. Yeah,
yes, it's Florida. This is the 3rd time Florida has had to deal with these snails. This is in Pasco County, which is sort of, I don't know.
Somewhere
in Florida. let's hope it doesn't exist much longer. And but they had a problem with them in Miami-Dade not too long ago too. So they've got the county is under lockdown. They're in quarantine to try to control the.
I heard Ron McGill from
snails.
Zoo Miami talk about this actually. So this is why I was like, but once you said the exotic pet trait,
how hard can it be to like manage this thing that moves that slowly?
Yeah. Those lizards, the lizards I get.
That's
the
fine.
iguanas and whatnot, they're fast.
Yeah, monitor lizards,
Whatever.
that's cool. But like a snail, just shovel them up into a bucket and put the lid on it. Like, the problem solved.
That's how you know Florida.
How do you lose a snail?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. That's how you know Florida's a different country as well, too, because all the exotic animals seem to thrive down there.
Yeah. Because it's not really, you know,
it's close
like
to the
equatorial.
equator. Yeah, exactly. There you go. That's the proper word for it.
It's basically a wildlife sanctuary, and you can tell because Ron DeSantis is their governor.
There's a lot. Look, I mean, there's a lot of wildlife over here.
Yeah.
From Gillum to DeSantis.
That's
it's
why
just
we
everybody.
have a whole category called Florida or not. Well, if you don't have the meth head as your governor, you're going to end up with the mass murderer as your governor. I mean, one or the other.
I'd take the attic.
Yeah, sure. At least you can trust him.
Yeah, you know, the attic is always higher.
Right. Plus, if it's meth, which it apparently was, you know, for the first few weeks, he's going to be really good at that job.
Oh, my.
Really good at it. And then, you know,
they'll need a dentist.
Quick decline.
Yeah, quick.
Yeah.
Quick.
Wasn't he a dentist?
Maybe.
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't a dentist.
But he was mayor in Tallahassee, I think.
Unless dentist means something else.
It does in Florida.
Right. He was a dentist.
Yes. For the cartels.
Yeah.
You know. All right. You want to do a break or you want to go right to the Tez Talk?
Let's just look. You know what? We're not moving at a snail's pace today. We're going.
Look at these dead ass birds.
Look at these dead ass.
Not me.
It's not me. I'm going all in.
All right, look at these dead ass snails.
No, we wish they were dead.
Yeah, right.
No, some who I wish. Never mind. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say that. But it does seem that Axios reported this a couple days ago that DC apparently has a new foe.
Or same old foe.
Or same old foe.
We're bracing ourselves for this thing that is going to happen again.
Yeah.
Which is what?
The Republicans are going to take over.
And DC not being a state.
DC not being a state, they're going to lose all the control that they have.
They're going to bring back parking meters.
Ah!
They're like, that Park Mobile is too carbon neutral.
Exactly.
We need the cars running while they put coins in them that nobody has.
And none of the Park Mobiles have the numbers on them anymore. They make you look it up.
Yeah, you got to do the GPS.
Exactly. I mean, and that's how we are as a country right now. You know, go look it up. Do your own research.
You don't have to know anything.
Yes,
yeah, right. Well, and the truck nut guys, remember, they were debating whether parking meters were in fact constitutional or not, and so they racked up these tremendous tickets.
No, they are.
Which they're constitutional.
Yeah, I mean, you could write to them on the back, but I don't think that's going to help you when you racked up that much.
I don't know. They don't ever read anything at C Street. If you do bother to contest it, they let you go. That's the rule in DC.
Yeah, I mean,
if you
always
show up,
always fight your tickets.
Yeah, always. And if you show up, they let you go.
Rule of Chip Chat, rule of advice here: fight the tickets.
You have to pay the court costs anyway. That is your microphone rental fee. You should go and fight, and you should say anything you want because they have to record it in the record.
Start filibustering.
Yes, or talking about any goddamn thing. They have to listen. That is the rules.
All right, so Andrew Clyde, who is a Republican, he's a junior member of Congress, and he's from Georgia. He's from Georgia. So, right, Republicans, as we expect them,
this
more
is
than
his
likely.
first term.
Yeah, this is his first term.
So he's just got to D.C.
He rocks. He served. He was in the army.
Boots.
Right. Was he? I think he was a Marine. Maybe. I think he was something. He served. He shows up in army boots in his suit. If you're watching us right now,
and he's like, "What's all these Ethiopian joints doing around here?"
Yeah. So instead of enjoying that, he's upset about DC.
He's mad. What did we do this time?
Well, which I could understand that you come to the nation's capital. Veteran. He's a Navy veteran, excuse me. Right there. And you come to the nation's capital and you walk around. Even now, you say, what the hell are all these black people doing?
Yeah, there's not even that many of them anymore.
But also, it's not that black a city, but I think you could look at the city from afar. And then and I think I put the story in here because we talk a lot about statehood. But his thing is he wants to go ahead and go back again, as they mentioned in the article, to the Dark Ages, right?
The Dark White Ages.
The Dark White Ages. Yes. I missed that one. The Dark White Ages.
3/5 of the time.
What are the Dark White Ages? They're when DC had no control. There was no city council.
No home rule.
There was no home rule. There was no mayor at the time.
This is pre-1973, I think.
Yes, pre-1973. I think Walter Washington comes in 67 or 68, around there somewhere. So he, again, wants to, as the Republicans come in next year, he wants to, as he says, quote unquote, there's crime that's almost out of control in the city. Almost. Look at the landscaping on Capitol Hill. It's gorgeous. The rest of the city, terrible. So you got the real Trump cadence.
Jesus fucking Christ!
Right. So again,
clearly he's never been anywhere in the city, and like most of the nice looking parts of DC are not. The mall looks like shit.
It looks like it's not the nice part.
It's not nice.
Dirty old gravel.
Yeah, it's like. Go up to the Arboretum or something.
So he's
want to see something nice.
He's drafting a bill to repeal the Home Rule Act.
Well, okay. I'm not too worried. He's from Georgia. His chance of being able to write a bill pretty low.
We might have watched Schoolhouse Rock.
Pretty low.
Yeah,
but he can't
write a bill
because he's from Georgia.
Stop that. And he said, here's what got me. He said, "Is he ready to become the city's public enemy number one?" Quote, "I don't think we go to war at all," he told Axios.
Whoa, that escalated quickly.
Right. Well, okay. The veteran expects Washingtonians to welcome the power grab with open arms. "There are issues we can all agree on," he says. "Let's make our city safe again." See, here's the thing, and that quote is always interesting because it's been said throughout history, hundreds of years, because folks come to Washington and they look at Washington as their city, and I'm all for that. On federal land.
Federal Washington should be excised from the district. Yeah. Absolutely. But the district should be a state.
You don't care about our city.
No.
You don't care at all about the people in it.
And you've never been to Brentwood or whatever.
And the thing is that, well, before I would say, well, don't you believe in democracy? And don't you believe in... I would have said that in the past.
States' rights.
States' rights. Wait. No, they don't believe in any of this. And I think it scares me a little bit. I mean, because I think it's not as far-fetched as some would think. Like, I hope there would be good people on both sides to in
this
the Congress,
DC, not Charlottesville.
I forgot. Sorry. In the
maybe
Congress,
we should get torches.
Maybe we should get torches. But I know one thing: the people of DC, the torches will come out for this shit.
Well, so like home rule is a critical thing, right? DC has this. We're already dealing with the lack of representation in statehood. And I was talking to a friend of mine who was visiting this week. I was like, look, as a Virginia resident, it is my responsibility to vote like and behave like and advocate on behalf of D.C. residents because they can't, right? So I have to vote always as if I was a D.C. resident.
Same with Maryland.
Because the surrounding counties, we are the ones who have to defend the district proper. But the situation of like lack of home rule, we've all been there before. We know this thing. The Republicans get in, they get into Congress or they get the White House or whatever, and they use DC as their like little laboratory. They force charter schools, they force the vouchers or whatever. They hamstring marijuana laws, but like even when they're not in charge, they can still mess with all of this stuff in DC. What I have yet to see happen, but I would very strongly advocate for, and I think maybe Muriel's got a little of this in her, is for DC to fight back.
Yeah.
Like,
and I do, people will
blockade all of the streets around Capitol Hill and make them have to cross a line, make them have to show me your papers or whatever to get into the district. You can stay in federal Washington.
Right.
We don't control that. That's fine, right? Like Pennsylvania Avenue belongs to the feds or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Get right up to the edge of where like MPD has jurisdiction and close that fucking street. Cut the water lines off. They're dependent on DC for water, not for power, because the capital has its own coal-fired power plant. But
we're also dependent on MPD for
security, right? So I mean, they're at some point or another, DC could do the thing, but instead, for the last 30 years or so, we've just had follower of the show, Delegate Eleanor Holmes Norton, go to Congress and shame these people relentlessly from the floor.
And in a sense, the purse strings and what, like, there's money that still comes in from the federal government, right? There's still, and I get that's a delicate line. I think the opponents of statehood have always tried to talk that, and I'm just like, all right, okay, but like, you think this economy can't run itself? You think
it's not like the feds are going to leave.
They're not going to go anywhere, and they're still going to have to spend.
They still have to buy lunch.
They still got to buy lunch, right? But I do think, to the point you made a second ago, I think Muriel, no matter what people have to say about her, I think when it comes to like fighting some of these national battles,
she's in.
She's in on that.
Yeah. She's a strong advocate for her hometown in the sense of, like, don't come here. And it's the thing that we've talked about a lot of times. People criticize, oh, well, Washington's a swamp. Everybody there is corrupt. Not us.
Come on.
Y'all send them here.
Yeah, from your town.
Right.
You vote for them.
This guy is from fuck all where.
Fuck all Georgia somewhere.
Yeah, from Georgia. And he's coming here. And now people are going to point at him and go like, well, that's what's wrong with Washington. No. He's not from here. He doesn't have mumbo sauce. He doesn't like go to the carryout and he doesn't know anything about our lives.
At all.
He doesn't know where the cherry blossoms even are.
No.
He's like, why are there these pink trees? And Jesus Christ.
They're demasculating everything.
Yeah, that's right. It's just it's the soy boys. From Japan 150 years ago.
It's a gift.
It was a gift. It was a gift.
Oh, yeah.
Until that beaver came.
Yeah.
You think the Republicans will help us with the beaver problem? I don't think they like the beaver. I think they're more of a waxed floor kind of crowd.
Yeah.
Find out on GCI.
Oh, yeah.
Hey!
Wait, Brian, did you find out what Alaskan Cable stands for?
Nothing.
They have an acronym that means nothing. They should be here in Washington. Yeah. They fit very well with our alphabet soup.
Right. So hopefully again, this guy doesn't jump in. From what I've heard, like the leadership or what it said in the article, the leadership in the Republican Congress, like, this isn't really our top agenda item right now.
Well, plus he's a first termer and like
he's got
he's just shooting his mouth off or whatever. Like that's fine. But I think I have a solution to this.
What?
We should try to convince Georgia to, leave. They wanted to before.
No.
Not all of it.
No.
Just the dark white sections. We'll keep Atlanta and Savannah.
Dark whites.
But the middle of it,
get them out of here.
Gone. Yeah. Make them be part of South Carolina.
No states can leave. It's not allowed.
Lindsey Graham is from South Carolina, but he thinks he is the senator from Georgia.
He is.
That's true. Yeah. So then we just take that part of Georgia, reattach it to South Carolina, split good Georgia off from them, and have good Georgia and South Carolina, where they can fight over those 2 Senate seats between him and Cousin Timmy, and problem solved.
Look at you, just carving up the country.
3/5 of the time, I get it right.
You do.
All right, we should take a break because.
Then we're going to come back. Time.
Yeah, then we're going to come back with some coup adjacent stuff and try a little lightning round.
Woo!
We'll see how fast we can do it.
We'll see.
But we do have to do the section where you guys shame me because I earned it this week.
It's okay.
So we're going to take a break. You're listening to Chip Chat on Rip Radio Network.
Sweeps.
How would you feel if you were innocent but sentenced to life? Too many niggas getting killed over stereotypes. How many years we gotta struggle, sick of getting beat down? How many niggas gotta suffer headshot to the ground? I know the hate that's in your heart, you wanna see niggas fail. You want your ignorance and everything you do to prevail. You want your white skin to be another excuse for your wrongs. Probably thinking shut the fuck up, then you turn off the song. I know your president ain't hesitant to make you feel great, but his belligerence and ignorance is what we can't take. He wants the power and respect for you to stand and applause. There's a reason for the season, so I'm trusting in God. And every black man ain't carrying around a gun. And every black man ain't ran from his son. And every black man wanna speak up for his rights. And every black man has a right to live his life. How does it feel to be racist? It must be contagious, 'cause the world is gone crazy. Your face is salty and your heart full of hate. Why can't you take responsibility for the mess that you make? We want you held accountable for everything that you do. Instead of trying to put the blame on everybody but you. You wanna use your social status, try to make us feel small. You wanna paint this perfect picture, you ain't Vincent Van Gogh. I wanna see a better future and all my niggas to shine. I want a life without us fearing that one day we gon' die. Cause we done been through hell and back and we done been through the pain. Took a couple 100 years just to get out them chains. Tryna build a better future for my niggas to grow. I'm tryna lead a better path and let the whole world know. And every black man ain't carrying around a gun. And every black man ain't ran from his son. And every black man wanna speak up for his rights. And every black man has the right to live his life.
How does it feel to be racist?
How does it feel?
It must be contagious. Cause the world is gone crazy.
The world's gone crazy.
How does it feel to be racist?
How does it feel?
It must be contagious. Cause the world is gone crazy.
Hey, come sit down with me, let's talk it out. So I can better understand what you talking about. I want to understand your mental, try to make you reflect. I want the answer to my question, that's with no disrespect. Cause I can put my pride aside and I can patiently wait. No, you don't like me, yeah, I see that fucking smirk on your face. Fuck 40 acres in the mule, I'd rather die with respect. I'm sick of brothers dying and mamas carrying around all that stress. I want to show my future kids, hey, look what daddy did. I'm trying to give a better future than what daddy lived. I want them trigger figures down, I know you hear me loud. I think I said enough, I want to hear you now.
All right, welcome back to Chip Chat here on Rip Radio Network. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
What's popping
that was Vontae. We're going to try to get him on next week. We had a schedule conflict. Okay, so now we've come to a part of the show that's called Coup Adjacent. Now, we talked about the January 6th hearings, which I think are just wrapping up. So
we take a break and come back.
Good
they
job
take a break and they're going
programming, Liz, but that's fine. This is called Text Me. So the Secret Service is in charge of protecting the president and the vice president and various other people.
Yeah.
And they were pretty central to the story about what happened on January 5th and 6th in the attempted overthrow of the government. And so their inspector general, who was appointed by Trump, because every agency in the executive branch has an inspector general whose job it is to sort of, watch over them, right? And the inspector general asked for some text messages, and the January 6th committee subpoenaed some of these text messages, and so did another committee in Congress before they wiped their phones, which they have shifted the blame on over, like they called it
tech upgrade,
device replacement, data migration, all this. So you speak this language.
Yes.
You're a tech guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is data migration?
Data migration would be taking the information from one device, let's say it's your mobile device, and moving it on to, let's presumably say, your new device.
A storage or, anything.
So anything.
Moving,
could be anything.
Literally moving data from one. Now, stuff gets fuzzy sometimes in data migrations, right?
Usually they do, but because it's a migration, right? So you're moving it somewhere.
Yeah, there's opportunity for it to get.
But if it fails, usually
you just try it again.
Try it again. You keep trying again until it successfully moves all day.
So that seems pretty unlikely.
Again, if you're doing a data migration, now if you're saying
that's what they're sticking to.
If you're sticking to that,
as the song goes, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. They're saying it was data migration. Nothing nefarious, nothing to see here.
Because, again, here's where that is always going to fall apart. Just give an example, like if you were at the Apple store or you're anywhere to transfer any information from one device to another. You go and you're doing a migration because people migrate. You're going from one place to another, right? So the data is going to be moving to that other device. If you move it to another device and it, again, fails, you wouldn't just go delete the other device.
Right.
Because you're still trying to migrate the data.
Yeah.
Again, this is...
Okay, so then they said it was like device replacement.
Okay, that's cool too. I would assume the Secret Service doesn't start off with a brand new device. Like, if you're replacing it, I'm Secret Service agent X.
You got to move your contacts and all that other stuff, right? Not to mention there are federal laws that require them to back up all of this data retention and all this other kind of stuff. Okay, so now they're saying like this stuff might not be recoverable at all, which means that they wiped the phones, right? So when you select data to be deleted or in the trash folder or whatever, it just means it's within the storage flagged as this can be overwritten.
Right.
It doesn't mean that it's gone off the device entirely. But when you wipe a device, you are removing all of that data and replacing it with blank
And it's
stuff.
intentional to do that, too. Like, it's very intentional. It's an intentional process. I don't know of any device that allows you just to tap one button and, like, wipe it. And also, too, depending on how, because sometimes you can wipe devices and even data can still be retained. When they're telling me they cannot retain the data, someone zeroed out all the information on it.
They did it on purpose.
Yeah, and again, these are things that just don't happen. There's not a magnet in somebody's pocket that does this.
Well, and magnets don't do things anymore because we're not using hard drives. Back in the day, we were supposed to drill holes in our hard drives and like, throw the disks in different
solid state doesn't
or
work
whatever. Right, solid state, that's magnet immune. People have magnets on their phones now.
Right, yeah.
Right? Like, it's you should not be so worried about right. Who would ever remember how terrified we were about magnets getting near our computers?
Now your smart trip, they're still killing them.
Now you literally have your
the smart trips on your phone too.
Yeah. But now you've got like the keyboard on the Surface is magnetic. And like the stylus is magnetic, and like nobody's worried about that. It's a miracle. Okay, but the Secret Service is not using miracles. They're apparently using 1980s technology for their text message. No, they destroyed this data on purpose.
Yeah, they're protecting the president.
It just looks so bad.
Gotta protect them.
Do you think? So we know that like maybe some of their internal stuff we're not going to find because all of it got wiped, but they're undoubtedly texting people outside of their network, right? So there's the other half of these text messages. What are we going to find?
Eventually, I think you find all of this information somehow.
I think it's somewhere. There's right? Because this stuff doesn't really travel on the regular text message. It goes through some cloud and some storage because they've got the federal record-keeping rules. They've got to set it up that way.
I don't know. The archives seem a little upset.
The archives is very upset.
The archives
we're finally relevant.
The archives seem like those seem like folks you don't want upset at you.
No.
I don't know why.
If you ever want to know anything.
Hey, I don't know why. I don't know if they have like a secret force.
You ever had a librarian look over their glasses at you?
Exactly.
And how it feels? Now imagine a whole building on 7th Street doing that.
But now
Nicolas Cage is going to be really upset.
We're still moving that people move with shame. Like shame doesn't move anybody anymore.
Not them. It moves people like you and me.
Yeah.
I feel bad if I do something wrong. Speaking of people doing something wrong, Dateline, Atlanta.
That's good.
Okay. Down in Georgia, this is factoring heavily tonight.
Georgia's back again.
Now, we know that in Georgia, they tried to set up this thing with these fake electors. And they went through a whole effort to do it. And the people who were the fake electors, many of them are state senators and, bigwigs within the party and stuff. We now have testimony from Ronna Romney McDaniel about endorsing this behavior and like telling them how to do it, which it's all totally illegal. You know who knows it's illegal? District Attorney Fani Willis. Fani wants to know, or Fani, I can never get this right. DA Willis wants to know what's up with these fake electors. And so she had subpoenaed them for the grand jury, and she's working on charges. Well, she sent them a letter this week saying, we're not just subpoenaing your testimony as witnesses. We've upgraded you. It's like when you get that call from the airline. Hey, we needed to move your seat. We've upgraded you. What did she upgrade them to?
She upgraded them. They're not criminal charges. Well, not necessarily criminal charges yet.
It's like Walmart, but for rich people.
Oh, hold on. Walmart, but for rich people. Hold on.
He's working it out. They've got a dog with a bullseye on his face.
Hold on. They are witnesses.
No. Store.
Targets.
There, that's it. They're targets. She upgraded him to a target. She sent this letter to.
They feel like they've been duped, though.
Yes. So the group includes Georgia Republican Party Chair David Schaefer, candidate for Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, county level GOP officials. Yep, a former state lawmaker and local conservatives. There's even some scuffle here about like maybe that the candidate now can't run because he's a target of an investigation, depending on how you read Georgia law. You know,
seems fair to me.
Well, it seems like a thing that they would have put in, obviously, when they were using it to prevent black candidates from running for office, right? They could just charge them or make them targets of an investigation, then just let it fizzle out or whatever.
I saw him sitting on his porch.
That's right. Vagrancy.
Vagrancy. Can't run.
Lawyers for 11 of those 16 Republicans, including Schaefer, said in a new court filing that their clients received grand jury subpoenas on June 1st, then were notified in late June that they were considered targets of an investigation instead of witnesses. They argue in the filing that the subpoenas are, quote, unreasonable and oppressive.
That was.
Oh, man, oppressive. Good word to choose in Georgia.
You know what's oppressive?
And
the heat and white people.
Yes. And the electors will invoke their Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. They deem the new designation a publicity
So they
stunt.
are targets if they're using their Fifth Amendment, right?
The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th.
Yeah, they're target. You are. I think this all pans out. Yeah, you've been upgraded to a target. If you're pleading the Fifth, then if you weren't a target, you wouldn't have to plead the Fifth.
It's the only target that doesn't come with a Starbucks inside of it. That's bad. Not funny. Okay, speaking of not funny, a bipartisan group of senators reached a deal this week. On what, you might ask?
Probably one that they're certifying elections now, right? We're making sure it's a real ceremony.
Yes,
and
they would like to not let the vice president get hung. Low bar to clear, but it's bipartisan, and it features our favorite two shit sacks. Susan Collins and Joe Manchin.
Look at that.
Look at those two shit sacks in that photo.
I hate the climate.
Yes, right.
I didn't think Brett Kavanaugh would do that.
This is Joe Manchin explaining to Susan Collins what hands are. I was not aware what hands were. Brett Kavanaugh told me he would never have hands if I put him on the court. That's my Susan Collins impression.
That's not bad.
It's pretty good, right? Joe Manchin impression just sounds like a crackling fire of coal. Yeah, I don't know what that would sound like. Okay, so basically the proposed bill needs to be approved by both chambers. It'll need 60 votes in the Senate. Still not clear if we can get that. That's got to be 10 Republicans.
I don't know. 10, I don't feel like this is a measure that's expected to fail in the Senate. I don't feel that America.
Unlike, say, the marriage equality that the House voted for. A bunch of Republicans did vote for it,
yes.
But only 20% of them, 80% of Republicans voted against marriage equality when they had an opportunity. They had an opportunity to get on the right side of this, and they were like, nah, fuck that noise. We're going down with this ship.
Yeah.
Who is that anti-gay? For real? Is that the thing you really want to fight about?
And again, the Supreme Court has already ruled on it, and now Congress is going to as you should have done something else.
You should have done.
Jesus, you idiots. But they said no. They're like, no, because again, what are they expecting? They're expecting
that for it to fail in the Senate. Right, but it might not actually. The Senate's got a few people who are pretty.
That is true.
This might actually make it through. There's a lot of discussion about that, and this thing about the Save Mike Pence law might also might be the first. It's the pre-Tim Scott edition.
There you go.
That might portend well for this, right? Because this is a thing that should be so non-controversial that it makes it through by the skin of its teeth, no less. But anyway, they're basically explaining in law that the vice president specifically does not have the authority to change anything. He is just ceremonially involved, and it's not a big to-do.
Sounds like we shouldn't even do this shit anymore. Sounds like January 6th should be, what do you call it? Maybe it's just one of those remembrance days.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't, We
should add it like a new federal holiday,
actually,
like Juneteenth, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like Juneteenth.
We're coming right out of New Year's.
Yeah.
That would make
something
it into
a week off.
Next week. And then no. You know what? I think, we figured something out
here.
You
had inauguration days right after that.
Right after that?
It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. This section is called Let Chip Have It.
What happened?
Okay. I put this in here because I deserve the ridicule that is coming my way. So let's go with the first thing on the list here. Tez, go ahead and get it out.
Well, On Saturday,
I went to Baltimore.
I did make it to Baltimore. Anyway,
for the Chip Chat Derby.
Chip Chat Derby. And I did see on, there we go.
Yep. There it is.
Oh, look at that.
First completely unmarked.
Another one.
Yeah. The Man City captain.
Man City. Yeah, exactly.
Now Gunners.
We got another Gabby on our team here.
Wearing that number 9.
Yeah, Jesus, sorry, Lacazette. Bye bye. Sorry, no more. Now, we got a new one here. But yes, we kind of got it. We made.
It was 2-0 at the end of the half.
Yeah, it was 2-0 at the end of the half.
And then you parked the bus.
Well, you did. No, we didn't want to get injured.
Well, and neither did we. We took out all of our starters.
We took out your starters. But yes, it does. In this Chip Chat Derby, it's 1-0 to the Arsenal.
So let's not let the Gunners get too excited. Everton managed to notch a loss to MLS club Minnesota United 4-0. So you beat a team that lost with our starters in to an MLS team 4-0. So don't feel too proud of yourself on that win. They scored 4 on us. You only got 2. And they don't have any real players. They're MLS team.
Look, I mean,
in Minnesota,
we beat our MLS team. Orlando got their ass smoked last night. Or was it last night?
United managed to score 2 on Munich of all.
What?
Getting 2 on Bayern Munich is impressive.
That's
very
insane.
impressive. Now, it's probably in garbage time when they took it out. It was 7-2. Okay, it wasn't like it was close.
I know, but
still, MLS not good.
I also told
DC United, coached by former Everton great Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, okay. I also told Brian, I was like, you know what? This is a proper NFL stadium. What they got going on up there in Baltimore. Yeah, it's a proper NFL stadium.
Did you like the toilets? They're sort of notoriously good. Yeah. They've got great bathrooms.
It's a good bathroom. Yeah. It's a good bathroom.
The flow in and out works really well.
It was really, even for the amount of people that were there, I could only imagine. There seemed to be a decent amount of folks there for that.
I remember when they built it, they called on everybody around to do a flush test because they wanted to simulate halftime. So they had enough people to basically everybody had to and flush all at once to see if the plumbing system could handle it.
Well,
and it passed.
It did pass. I enjoyed.
That's Union Plumbing, by the way.
Enjoyed we love unions here. Yep. I enjoyed my time out in Baltimore. And if I was to return to the NFL, you know what? That team up in Baltimore is just, I don't know. It's looking,
Big Trust, a big Trump supporter.
Who? What?
Lamar. Yeah, he loves Trump. Tweeted him out and all that stuff.
Look,
he's a big Trump supporter.
I once too was confused.
Brian,
misusing
the
my
white
influence.
producer, loves Donald Trump because he loves Lamar. That's how that works.
That's how you
transitive properties.
Yeah, the face he shot you just now was like
transitive properties.
That's how it works. Yeah, but I guess that's a long-winded way of saying you lost.
Yes, we did.
Now let's continue to lose.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so
lay it on.
Who's your favorite football team?
Michigan.
Michigan, right?
Yeah. The University of Michigan.
Okay.
Because they trademarked the
D. So you got the of.
We're of. Yeah. That was our answer. We trademarked of.
Actually, and I don't dislike your head coach. You have a head coach up there?
We do. St. Jimmy of Ann Arbor.
St. Jimmy of Ann Arbor. There he is right there, who also started one of my favorite quarterbacks, Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
So he was a keynote speaker on Sunday at something called the Plymouth Right to Life Benefit Dinner.
It was in a Plymouth.
Yeah. Plymouth.
Yeah. Wood paneling, I guess.
Yeah, I would assume. Okay. So he was at a fundraiser. It's about 10 miles outside of Detroit. And he's a practicing Catholic.
Won't hold it against him.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it against him.
That's why he's St. Jimmy of Ann Arbor.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't call him that for nothing.
And he believes that abortion at any point after conception is immoral on the grounds that, embryos.
And he can believe that. That's fine.
That's fine, right?
He attends fundraisers for Hillary, so we know he's a good guy, right?
Yeah, right? And he said, amazing, to quote him about pregnancy loss, amazing gifts from God to make this world a better place.
Senator Timmy Kaine says similar things.
Exactly. Yeah. Again, I can't argue that. But as Harbaugh explained Sunday to a crowd of anti-abortion donors.
I don't like where this is going.
He said, An individual's belief, even deeply held beliefs about issues of morality, should not necessarily guide the establishment of society's laws.
Doing well, Jimmy.
Right,
keep going.
Well. He said, quote, I have faith in American people to ultimately develop the right policies and laws for all lives involved. I recognize one's personal thinking regarding morality of a particular action may differ from their thinking on whether government should make that action illegal.
This is great. I love it.
I'm all here for that, right?
Go for it, Jimmy. Preach.
As Defector says in the article,
I think I sense that you're laughing.
He comes so achingly close.
It's something bad is about to
landing on the correct side of this issue. He's so close.
No.
And as the reporter said, I almost want to end this blog right at the conclusion of the paragraph.
Stop now. No.
And but hold on. We got one last piece. Quote, there are many things one may hold to be immoral, but the government appropriately allows because some greater good or personal or constitutional right. That's it, right? That's what we want. That's the final piece there.
I don't like that there's Nazis marching around with torches, but the First Amendment says they should be allowed to. And I can't argue that. So, okay. Good job, Jimmy.
Really great. And I think I'm missing the last piece of this here.
So I'm gonna. Brian's got it.
Hold on. Let me go into the Chip Chat archives because I took the screenshot. It's almost
as if I cut this into the script.
Now I'm looking at this. I'm like,
in a very specific way.
I'm like, hold on. Did my piece get in? So this is the last piece here.
Uh-oh.
He finished with, quote, ultimately, I don't believe that this is the case of abortion.
Oh, this is an exception to your deeply
there are conflicts between legitimate rights of the mother and the rights of the unborn child. One resolution might involve incredible hardship for the mother, family, and society. Another results in the death of an unborn person. Neither outcome is good, Harbaugh said. But between the two, the life of an unborn person must win out.
Jimmy. I don't know.
He's so. He said all the right things in the beginning, but you know what?
You big dummy.
He beat Ohio though, so I'm gonna give him a pass.
Of course, yeah. I don't expect you to denounce him here.
He's off. Speaking of which, Brian, I believe you might have a photo that I wanted to show everybody from my trip to the museum.
Ooh, okay. Let's see.
Okay, so I went to the African American History Museum because a buddy of mine scored tickets while he was. Not that one. We'll get to Magic Hands in a minute.
Hey.
But I wanted to show the other one. Brian, do you have the other picture that I sent you of my literally favorite person on the whole planet? That dude.
There it is.
That's not the picture I wanted you to show.
There it is. If you're not.
There you go. So I got a selfie with Dez. This is,
Go blue.
Yeah. This is the pose, right?
No, go Ukraine.
After he...
That's sorry.
After he ran the kickoff back and he, for the touchdown, doing the Heisman pose as he did it, and come on.
Look at you, look so happy.
I was so proud, and there he was. Right.
The only thing happier is Desmond Howard looking at a bridge lit up with.
So that's why I brought the picture in because we're gonna have this segment where you're gonna give me all this shit about everything. Look. I was like, look, here's your example.
I like the Fab Five.
Yeah.
Look, I don't have no issues with them.
And a lot of great Michigan players, right?
Yeah, no issues with them.
Woodson and all this. Yeah. There's so many greats. But, okay, so I saw a picture of Dez. That was cool.
You did see a picture of Dez.
But I also saw this picture of Dr. Ben Carson. So they have this exhibit.
Yo, that journal he looks like.
Where that's from the exhibit. They have that photo.
He looks like he's going to walk out and go speak on U Street.
Yes. So they had this whole exhibit about
brothers,
education and stuff. Yeah, except that he doesn't. No, that's the thing, right?
He looks like.
Yeah, there's this whole section there about how education, and they talk about like medical fields, and they talk about some of the first teaching hospitals for black nurses and all this kind of stuff. And then they get to this Ben Carson bit, and they've got this whole thing about him with pictures of him and sort of quotes and stuff and like a model of the brain that he separated and all of this. It's quite uplifting and inspiring. But it is also very close to the exhibit on the transatlantic slave trade, which Ben Carson, as a cabinet secretary, HUD secretary, by the way.
HUD.
Not a thing he knows anything about, but he's black, so therefore he has to be a HUD secretary.
Of course.
Called immigration. and he declared that he was an immigrant because of this. I understand that they built this museum before he became that, and I understand that it's not easy to like undo whole exhibits. Like they didn't
Bush already give him a Medal of Freedom already before this?
Yeah, and there wasn't like they still don't have like John Lewis's death date on the exhibit about him. So like I know it takes time to update these things, but
can't take him out.
So what are we going to do? What are we doing with this?
It's got to stay in there.
Right there, though, could we move him away from the thing that he called
the curators
immigration?
of this will figure it out. Or what's who's over the Smithsonian total? Like I'm blanking on his name.
Johnson, I think.
Johnson,
he used to be the director of this museum.
Yeah, he'll figure that out.
They put a plaque next to the bit about the transatlantic journey and the Middle Passage, and be like, this is not immigration, no matter what that guy over there says.
Immigration
with an arrow pointing right at Ben Carson's exhibit.
Look,
it didn't feel right, but I'm not really in the right position to ask that question.
He separated the Siamese conjoined brain twins. I heard they went on to terrible lives afterwards. But
he did,
but he got it done.
He had like a 50% success rate.
Yeah,
so he's a genius.
Look. He stays in.
He stays in?
Yeah, he stays in.
Even
you might need to move
Trumpista?
I mean, Herschel Walker's somewhere in there, isn't he?
I don't know. I didn't look that hard for him, to be honest.
Well, he'll be in Washington soon.
His kids are looking,
he's just joking.
His kids are looking for him. They maybe go find him there. Right. He's with China in their air.
The good air. Or the bad air.
The bad air that comes over and takes our good air. Yeah.
He's not like the jet stream.
That's not. Yeah, that's right. Noted meteorologist Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker.
With that fine UGA education.
Yeah.
CTE is real.
It is. That is.
We want to say thanks to
America in quotes. I got a new one.
Thanks to the committee for ruining our show. Thanks to our radio partner, Steve Bannon, who was on trial today and offered no defense. They were like, "You want to present your case?" And he was like, "Nah."
Again, we should be counter-programming on one of these.
On OAN, apparently.
On OAN somewhere
in Alaska.
Because I'm telling you, the hate, and I know it sounds like I'm just searching for hate listens, but they would love us so much.
Would drive so much
it would be
ad revenue.
They would hate you. They would hate me. They would despise you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I look like them.
Oh, my God.
They already hate you from looking at you.
Yeah, they would hate you.
All right. Thanks to Steve Bannon, Google, Amazon, all of those guys. Thanks to NOTN for keeping us on another week. We assume. No idea. Right. Thanks to our home on the interwebs, coplaymedia.com. And thanks, as always, to our family here at Rip Radio for making us sound as smooth as Boris saying, "Hasta la vista, baby," which is actually how he ended his final speech in comments.
Clown.
I am not making that
He's
up.
just a clown.
It was a great 2 minutes. You should definitely go watch that on YouTube. All right, where can everybody get you on the socials and things?
You can find me on Twitter at DC Cortez. You can find me on Instagram at KetchumCordy.
All right, you can find me in the show
Not Ketchup.
No, not Ketchup. That's in the White House. Yeah. All right, you can find me and the show on Twitter at ChipChatRR, and can find us on Facebook or Instagram at RipChipChat. And, of course, you can find us every Thursday night at 9:30 here on Rip Radio Network. Next week is our last week before we get our summer break. Oh, there's clips.
Yes.
There's going to be a lot of clips coming out. There are a lot of clips already published.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And then we've got the other show that we're going to do. So we're going to help them out. We're going to do a thing for... Don't worry about it. I'll tell you about it later. All right, anyway.
No one knows what's happening, but we'll be...
Don't worry. We're going to be... We'll be on the Moose Show with Sarah Palin. You're listening to I'm Beaver, and that's Wolf, and you're listening to Alaska Public Media on Sarah Palin Cable.
Beaver and Wolf Show.